Good morning. So we are continuing the lesson CWSN, Children with Special Need, and the name of the chapter is Physical Education and Sports for Differently Able. So the topic we have discussed and we are discussing, that is disorders. There are five disorders are there: ADHD, Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, that we have discussed; sensory processing disorder, that we have discussed; autism spectrum disorder, that we have discussed; and oppositional defiant disorder, that we have discussed, ODD. Now the fifth disorder that we are discussing today, that is obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. So this is the disorder which is made up of two words, obsessive and compulsive. This is mental disorder where people feel the need to check things repeatedly, perform certain routines repeatedly. Means the person repeat a kind of action again and again. That is due to the thoughts which are arising in the mind, obsessive, compulsive, that comes to the behavior. Arising the thoughts in the mind, and then person is behaving accordingly. So again and again the same kind of thought arises in the mind and the person behave in the same way. So repeatedly particular action done by the person in this activity is mostly seen, in this disorder mostly seen. Common activities include hand washing, counting of things, and checking to see if the door is locked or not. Various activities are there. There is, we will discuss in detail and why it happens. So these activities occur to such a degree that the person's life is negatively affected. So that is the severely the person is repeating the action. So that affect the person's life negatively. Treatment involve counseling and medications, etc. This is the brief general I am telling you about the OCD. Then we will come in detail about the OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. Like, see one picture, that washing the hands again and again. This is hyper. Washing hands frequently means then we should wash our hands regularly. And now these days, due to the corona effect, that it is very good precautions. We have to wash our hands frequently throughout the day. But that is different. In this, the person is washing the hands again and again. That is hyper. Counting some numbers again and again. So this is seen. This can be seen during this disorder. OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. The nature of this disorder is related to mental illness. The nature of this disorder is related to mental illness. This usually takes place in people of middle age. Males and female both are equally affected by OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. About 15 to 20% of the people experience OCD in mild form. So maximum the OCD is seen in severity. So only 15 to 20% of the people experience this disorder in mild form. The symptoms of this disorders are people doing repetitive behavior, performing routine tasks over and over again, and having certain thoughts repeatedly arising in the mind of the person. Clear? What are the symptoms? The symptoms of the disorders: people doing repetitive behaviors, performing routine tasks over and over again, or having certain thoughts repeatedly arising in the mind. This disorder, some examples of this type of disorders are obsessive compulsive disorder. Some examples of this type of disorders are frequent or excessive hand washing, counting things repeatedly, checking if a door is locked again and again. These activities occur to such a degree that it affects the person's life negatively. The OCD can become serious and may cause other problems related to mental illness if it is not taken seriously. It can be more serious. So, initially, we have to take it seriously so it can be cured and it can be controlled. Causes we will discuss. Family disorder. The disorder may be in the family, therefore, close relatives of people with OCD are likely to develop it. In the family history, or close relations, in the persons who are living with the persons, like the persons who are spending maximum time together, if if there is the OCD in any person, so it can develop in others also, because this is the disorder of thoughts and behavior. Behavioral cause. The behavioral theory suggests that people with OCD associate certain object or situation with fear and learn to avoid those things, or learn to perform rituals in order to help reduce the fear or stress related to that situation. So actually this is the fear in mind, the main cause, behavioral causes, that is the fear is there in the mind. The person are afraid of some things which is forcing these persons to perform these actions repeatedly in order to reduce the fear. So, like one example I can give you, then you can understand that if the person is get infected, so once the person get infected, and after that the person, in person's mind there is a fear of the virus or bacteria, the fear of infection, getting infected from the things. So that situation, that fear has developed a thought in the mind of the person in order to reduce the fear to wash hands again and again. So what the person is doing, due to the fear from the bacteria or virus or getting infection, the person is performing the rituals or the actions repeatedly in order to reduce the fear of the situation that is fit in the mind of the person, that is fixed in the mind of the person. So this is the behavioral cause. Cognitive cause, this happens when people have thoughts like the feeling of dirty hands even when they have cleaned many times. There is a thought in the mind that the person have that the hands are dirty, or sometime that situation is there. Due to that situation, the person's always remembering his or her dirty hands. Once for a while, if the person got his or her hand dirty, so that situation the person remind again and again. He is remembering it again and again, and that's why this thought arises, and it comes into the behavior, and the person act accordingly, and action is frequently repeated. Cognitive cause, it happens when the people have thoughts like the feeling of dirty hands even when they have cleaned their hands many times. So whenever the thought will arise in the mind, the person will again go to wash their hand. Environmental causes, this means stressful situation present in the environment, such as within the family or society, that trigger OCD in people. Even or maybe this kind of situation which we are discussing, that is in the environment, or the environment may be surrounding in family, society where the person is living. So that may be a trigger for the OCD, that may initiate again the kind of thought in the mind that can create fear in the mind of the person, like from falling ill and any may be there. That is the severity of the fear. The person are highly afraid of the situation, so then they act accordingly in order to reduce the fear, and repeatedly the action is performed, or the rituals are performed by the person. The OCD is a cycle, so that's why it is also sometimes called the OCD cycle, obsessive compulsive disorder. So obsession that we have discussed, this is thought, unwanted and distracting thought. Unwanted thought that is arising in the mind of the person, clear? Then it will create anxiety. Anxiety means that is fear of happening any terrible thing, Anxiety is the situation in which the person have fear of happening any terrible thing. So anxiety will be there. And then compulsion. Compulsion means person will behave accordingly, behavioral change. Behavior will be exhibit in order to reduce the anxiety, and the person will act. The repeatedly the action will be done, and the person will get relief for a while. Action is done, the person is relief. Again, after the relief, again opposition will come. Same thought will arise again into the mind. It will again create anxiety. Again, the person will repeat the action. Again, for a short while, the person will get relief. Again, the opposition will be there. So, opposition, compulsion, this cycle continues. Continuously, this cycle goes on. Opposition, anxiety, compulsion, relief. After relief, opposition, then again. So, obsessive compulsive disorder. This is the OCD cycle. I think now we understand the OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, by the OCD cycle. Again, I am repeating you. Once again, we can clear. Obsessive means obsession is there. Obsession means that is the thought, unwanted and distracting thought that arises in the mind of the person, and that creates the situation of anxiety. Anxiety is the fear of happening any terrible thing. This is kind of feeling. The person have anxiety, nervousness. What will happen? This kind of thoughts in the mind. Anxiety. After anxiety, the person will act. The behavior will be there. In the form of behavior, this is the action will be there. The person will act, and he or she will get relief for a short time of period. Temporary relief. The temporary relief, and then again the thought will arise, obsession, again anxiety, again action, then again temporary relief. So this cycle of obsession and compulsion is continuous. So that's why the person suffer with the OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. So obsessive compulsive disorder and the OCD cycle, obsessive compulsive disorder cycle. So this is all about the OCD. So 5 disorders are complete here now. Now we will come to the another topic, that is disability etiquettes. Disability etiquettes tells us about how to behave, how to tackle the persons, how to meet the persons with disability, who are the persons who are suffering with the disability, how we should behave with them, what is the civilized way of meeting these people. So the disability etiquettes are there. Disability etiquettes. This is a set of guidelines dealing with how to approach people with disabilities. The rule of etiquette for dealing with disabled people are generally same as the rule for good etiquettes in society. Always we need etiquettes in society. How we are sitting in society, how we are meeting with people, how we are talking, how we are standing, how we are listening, everything, everywhere the etiquettes are very important in society. So, same way we have the disability etiquettes. The commandment of etiquettes with disabilities. First one is talk directly. Speak directly to the person rather than through a companion. We must speak directly to the person. Offer to shake hand. We must offer persons to shake hand. Ask before you help. Don't treat them as they need help. Don't treat like they are disabled. Ask before you help. If you offer assistance, wait the offer is accepted. We can ask them, may I help you? So, when the offer is accepted, then we must help them. Before permission, if you are helping them, so it means we are feeling that these persons are needy, they need help. Don't touch or lean on wheelchair. In case of the person is on wheelchair, don't touch or lean on wheelchair. Listen them carefully. Speak clearly and slowly and use signs, body language for hearing disabled person. Then some more etiquettes we will discuss here. Disability etiquettes is a set of guidelines to deal with the people facing physical or mental disabilities. It was started as a clinical play on existing rule sheets written for non-disabled audience and were seen as demeaning by civil rights activists in 1970. This is the civil right formed in 1970s that we must treat disabled person as a normal person. We cannot comment them. We cannot make them feel that they are disabled. The term serves to communicate people with disabilities more respectfully in all type of situation. It refers to educate people regarding disabilities. It involves treating people with disabilities with respect and care and try to bring them into a normal life or in mainstream. The disability etiquette guidelines. First one, ill person with speech difficulties, give attention to the person who has difficulty in speaking, keep manner to encourage rather than correcting, give extra time for conversation and be patient. If you have difficulty in understanding, don't pretend that you do. Repeat as much as you do understand. So, these are the manners, the etiquettes for person with hearing loss. Get the person's attention with a wave of the hand or a tap on the shoulder. Speak clearly and slowly, but without exaggerating your lip movement or shouting. Many persons with hearing loss read lips. They understand by the language of the lip, the movement of the lip. Place yourself facing the light source and keep hands, cigarettes, and food away from your mouth when talking in order to provide a clear view of your face. When an interpreter accompany a person, direct your remark to the person rather than to the interpreter. Look directly at the person and speak expressively. Use sign language if you and the person are both familiar with it. Only those sign languages can be used with the person is familiar. New sign languages should not be used there. That is not a good etiquette. Person with vision loss, when enters the room, indicate who's there. Let the person know when leaving the room. Introduce yourself. When talking to a person with a visual impairment, begin to identifying yourself by name and that you are speaking to them. When offering your assistance, do not grab the person's cane or arm. If you are walking with a person who is blind, offer your arm for him or her to hold. Walk at the normal pace. It is helpful to speak casually and naturally about the environment, object, and building you are passing as you walk. Not all visually impaired people read Braille. That is the language by which they can learn or understand. Ask the person what alternative format they prefer. What they prefer, we can ask them. These are all the etiquettes which we must follow while we are approaching the people with disabilities. So we have one more topic is there, that is the the physical activities, how these are helpful for the disabled person. So this we will discuss now. So physical activities, advantage of physical activities for the children with special need. So this is we can understand activities for children with special need. Regular physical activity is good for everyone, but it's particularly important for children with special needs. These are most important for their growth and development. These are numbers of advantage of physical activities. These are as follows. It strengthens the heart muscles, thereby improving cardiovascular efficiency, lung efficiency, and exercise endurance. This helps to develop the cardiovascular efficiency, lung efficiency, and exercise endurance. This helps in controlling repetitive behavior among disabled children. Next is for the children with special need, advantage of physical activities. Beside improving fitness, physical activity develops social relationship with others, other children. Treatments, teammates, and teachers. So, next is this brings positive change. In the social behavior of the children. It helps to improve energy level in the body. Regular physical activity often makes children more energetic, allow them to become active. It regulates blood pressure, cholesterol level, and diabetes. Physical activities reduce stress level also. So next we can see it helps to control weight. The children with disabilities are not physically active or may have deficit of calories which take fat away and lower weight, and regular exercise help in regulating weight. Physical activities help in the children improving muscle strength, coordination, and flexibility among disabled children. This also improves motor skills, brings better balance and body awareness, which is lacking in these children. So most of all physical activities overall we can see these activities are very helpful for the children with disability. Strategy to make physical activity accessible to children with special need. This we will discuss here. The various strategies of ways by which physical activities can be made accessible for children with special needs, like inclusive classroom. It means inclusive classroom means that is inclusion. Inclusion means we have to include all the normal person class, the disabled person into the normal person's class. We cannot segregate them. We should involve them with the normal people. That is known as inclusive classroom. Means normal students, how the way the normal students are studying or learning, the disabled person should also included in the same class. We cannot segregate them. So that is known as the strategy of inclusive classroom. So it means development of education law in such a way that children with special need get education within the normal classroom along with their other children, so that they are well accepted in society. So inclusive classroom is clear. Another strategy, assistive technology, we will see here. Assistive technology, that it refers to creating devices, tools or equipments that help children with special need to participate in learning activities like bigger balls, ball with bells, balls attached to string to bring it back to the strings, etc. So technology can be used to help them. Adaptive physical education, that we have studied in previous class also. Adaptive physical education, that is the physical education programs are modified for the disabled person, disabled children. Like cricket is modified, the disabled person, blind person, people can play cricket with sound ball. The rules and equipments, everything is changed according to the need of the person. So this is known as the adaptive physical education. So depending on the student's disability, a separate adaptive class of modification within a game, changing the rules of the game or sports to some extent, can help the students in a big way. So this way the adaptive physical education is the another strategy. Another strategy we can discuss here, creating a specific environment. Students with special need can be provided with specific play area with specific special requirement as needed by them. Loud music, glaring light often cannot be tolerated by these children. Loud music, glaring light often cannot be tolerated by these children. So a lot of natural lighting should be there. We can give them safe and specific environment as it can suit them very well. It is suitable for them. Positive behavior. In physical education classes, teachers should show positive behavior and healthy interaction and prevent negative behavior. These children need a lot of assistance, small things we can do which can help them a lot. Another strategy is focus on creative game. Some games are creative games, so focus on creative games instead of competitive games and physical activities. The strategy is to develop creative game. This helps in team building and cooperation and prevents unnecessary competition and boosts the confidence of the children. So the another one we can see here, one more strategy is there, that is professional courses. Developing more professional courses and teachers certification programs for the teaching physical education in children with special need is essential to popularize the adaptive physical education programs. So we should give more attention to promoting the adaptive physical education. So this is all over about today's lesson, this video. We'll meet with in the next video.